Hi, how's it going? I'm Marlene. Thanks for wandering by. So today's gonna be another bit of like a little chatty video with like questions for you. You guys seem to really enjoy that when I just sort of like let you know what was simmering around in the old noggin. And I wanted to do another one of these kind of like chatty, like posing questions and talking about things that I've been thinking about, especially because we are about to celebrate Mother's Day here in the United States. And I know that this can be a really difficult time for a lot of people, depending upon your life experience. So, what I want to do today is kind of open up a conversation and just kind of give you my experience with tarot and parenting as a mother. And so, for those of you who are mothers or who are caregivers or work with children or nurture animals or any ways that tarot like a mother, I'd love to hear from you. And I just want to share with you some of the things that I share with my own child and how I use tarot in my life as a parent. And I'm curious what you think about the experience of being of tarot and parenting and how that kind of, just a topic for discussion, how that folds into your life. If you'd like to share with me in the comments down below. But first, I'd like to share with you. First of all, I wanted to let you know, those of you that watched my video I shared about a month ago. Was it a month ago? Yeah, it has to have been a month ago that I used the rose petals. I had a day of the rose to celebrate Mary Magdalene, and I had like a special plan for the rose bouquet for my daughter's birthday. We used that, and I created rose water, which I put into a spray bottle that's on the altar behind me. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's on the altar behind me. I guess I'm grabbed. So, into a spray bottle that has I had already like this had already finished, and I just kind of put the rose water in here, and it kind of still has like the lavender mix. So I put my rose water that we made in there, but then I made rose oil for the first time ever. And um I was able to, like a month later, after I had strained, today was the day that I strained the oil after it had been in the jar with the rose petals for, yeah, like over a month, and made rose oil perfume. And I got these little, like, rollerball guys. I've never done anything like this before. And there's some patchouli in here too, and it smells delicious. It's so good. I ended up filling up four of these and two medicine droppers, and I have those up there that I'm going to keep on the altar to get all the charge and the goodness up there for anointing things. But I made one of these specifically for my mom for Mother's Day. So it's got so much magic in there and love of like my, Mary Magdalene, and because it was Rory's, my daughter's birthday bouquet, and it's the first time I've ever done this. So that was like such a beautiful thing that I did today, and I'm just like super, yeah, loving it. And so then, yeah, I had enough to give one to Rory, my daughter, one for me, and I have an extra too. So, and I'm gonna give, one for my mom. Anyway, so that's kind of like on the witchy side of things. But I want to share, going back to like the main topic, I just wanted to tell you like what I did today and my Mother's Day plans. But going back to the main topic of tarot and like, and parenting, there's like a couple different things that I see. Like, I think about the way that I grew up without tarot. So I've mentioned before that I grew up, my parents are from Cuba. So naturally, I mean, not naturally, but very typically they are Catholic. And I grew up, under Catholicism, going to Catholic school. Like baptized, confirmed, the whole night. And so my mom especially is very devout Catholic. But she's really open-minded and we have lots of conversations. Anyway, regardless, tarot was not a part of my spiritual life growing up. I had um like discovered tarot, in the 90s, and I got a tarot deck and then promptly didn't use it. But anyway, tarot wasn't something that was in my life growing up. And so when tarot entered my life as an adult, I was already a mom, and I didn't think a lot about how that was going to be part of my parenting, you know, until it just sort of like unfolded as I was learning tarot, and it was part of my life. And now it's so much, so like deeply ingrained in like my identity and who I am and how I practice and what I think, that it just is a natural part of my parenting. But I can kind of give you guys an idea of what it's like. I mean, my daughter, I've been doing tarot for like 5 years now, 4 or 5 years now. And my daughter's kind of growing up alongside that. And so I share with her often what I'm doing. She has her own decks because she expressed interest in, what I was doing when she was younger. She hasn't really asked about it now that she's getting older and like is into more of her own things. But she definitely has her own tarot decks and oracle decks. I did a while ago at the beginning of when I started, doing videos on YouTube. I did have a few videos, even recently, that featured my daughter, just her hands and her voice. But I've since privated those videos, and it's because she was younger, and not that she doesn't mind. In fact, like she even now says like, why would you do that? I don't mind. But I still feel like she's not old enough to really be okay with being on the internet without, you know what I mean? So I feel like when she gets older, if it's something she wants to do. So I didn't even think about that when we did the videos. It was just something that we were doing together that was fun for us to share and then share with the audience. And but as the channel grew a little bit more, not that it's like that big or anything, but as the channel grew a little bit more, I felt like I would rather that be privated, private, private, and not, in the public space. Um, so that's something for sure. I mean, we've definitely shared I definitely have shared my tarot decks with her, shared my excitement for everything. I've, only we've done like learning tarot stuff together. She kind of knows but not really, all the 78 cards. She prefers Oracle when she uses her decks. Her favorite deck is an animal oracle. And she's a lot of the time what she did with cards and decks is play. And that is, I think, a really wonderful way that you can like that tarot and parenting kind of coincides, because tarot decks are card decks, and it was, initially a game to begin with. Like I have other tarot buddies that I know that like they have babies that they have, that play with the cards, and or toddlers, and I think it's beautiful. Like Rory wasn't that young, but like I think it's just really cool to imagine like to imagine doing tarot with, like having tarot around the space where a baby is. Like I think that's really cool too. Um, so for us, tarot has been, just it's part of who I am and what I do. And so naturally, if she's curious about it at all, like we talk about it and so on. So it's incorporated into our daily lives as play. Um, My spiritual like life is available for my partner and my daughter to like, ask questions about but it's not it feels very like my own thing, because I don't ever want to put it upon her like the way that, a spirituality or religion was kind of placed upon me, what I kind of had to do. There was like no questions asked. I just was in it, right? From the time that I was a kid. And I don't want to do that with my own child. So I'm sort of figuring it out as I go along. I share with her my beliefs, or lack thereof. And and kind of see what she says, and we have long conversations about, goddesses and spirituality and all different kinds of stuff. And I think she, hasn't really landed on anything yet, which I think is cool. And sounds very much like me anyway. Um, but yeah, but tarot, I've done readings for my daughter, and she's done readings for me, and her dad, my partner. So yeah, so that's a part of our lives. Um, another aspect of this is not just like how, I parent, like how I introduce tarot to her, because it's really mine and or for me, and if it's something she wants to take on as she gets older, like, it'll be more and more part of the discussion. But really, how do I, like, the other side of this is like, how do I use tarot as a parent in like asking myself, or not asking myself, asking the tarot, sorry, questions about what I'm doing as a parent. And I mean, there's so much. Oh, before that, wait, pause. I'm like, I should have made more notes on this, but I kind of sort of did. But before I do want to share one thing that I did do for my daughter that kind of like with tarot, that kind of like mirrored my own, like my personal experience, as well as something that she was going through, also. So, she was dealing with some bullying and mean girls at school this year. And I had found a video that it wasn't at all about tarot. It was about mean girls. And I have my own life experiences, and even up to recently dealing with some mean girl activity. And I found this video that I thought was so helpful for both my daughter and myself, that had these like five different, like this, it's like was like a listicle video, it had like these five different ways to deal with like mean girls and bullying. And each one of those five things that were listed worked for me as a tarot spread position. And so I did a tarot reading around it, and I shared the video with my daughter, and the tarot reading as well. So that's something that we've done together. And I could foresee, like where like our and for me, I guess that's like it with like with any interpersonal relationship and tarot, where things are lining up, where there's something that we want to share. I think it's really easy to use tarot as a tool to share an experience together, to share, and to gain insight together. So it's, yeah, I mean, it just is. I think tarot isn't doesn't have to be, can be, and is wonderful as a solo experience, reading for yourself or reading for others. But I think that there's also a and I'll probably have another video that's more about interpersonal relationships in tarot, but there's something interactive. Like I'm doing this because it like I feel like it weaves, between human beings, that there's something interactive about tarot. There's a shared experience, I think, too, that you can utilize the cards for both people involved. Not just like I'm the reader, you're the querent, but like this is not just and not a collective reading either. It's a very specific experience between like the people involved. And so anyway, tell me what you guys think about that. Like um I have more to say on that, but specifically with my child and myself, it's a wonderful opportunity if we're going through something for us to have a shared experience together and gain some insight through the cards, tarot and oracle, right? All right, so that's kind of like how, just examples of how tarot is part of our day-to-day lives. It's play, it's readings, it's woven throughout the fabric of like my belief system and spirituality. So it's everywhere in the house. There's decks everywhere. It's shared everywhere. She did a lot of playing, she experimented and stuff, and that's kind of how I'm curious to hear how it works in your home if you want to share that with me too. Um so now taroting, like using tarot as a parent, dealing with what it's like to be a parent, so this might not, resonate for, I mean, a lot of people, because not everyone out here is going to be a parent, and this might not speak to you. But I just thought I would share. I know I know my demographic is like mostly, women my age. And so I feel like there's a lot of folks that maybe you're a parent of an adult child, or a baby, toddler, wherever you happen to be in your parenting, a step parent, uh have pets, whatever it is that this might resonate as. But anyway, if you ever have to take care of somebody else, and you're responsible for them, this is, what I mean. So using tarot as a parent to help guide, as a guide to help me through, because I don't know if I ever thought that by the time that I reached middle age that I would have more answers. I don't, and I need help often navigating, what I'm doing daily as a parent, as a mom, whether I'm making the right choices, whether I'm helping her, like what's most important, what should I be focusing on? How can I help her through this, like the bullying thing, and how can I help her through that? And also what, not just for her, but for me, like what, I'm tired. Being being a parent is tiring. It's you know, it's a job that never ends. It's, you don't clock out, okay? You can't clock out of parenting. It's, um, even unconscious dreams happen, when you're asleep. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's not a job that you clock out of. It's very exhausting. It's a lot of responsibility, and it's hard. And so I use the tarot all the time to help me navigate, situations of my own energy, of not just like how I can help her better, but how I can help myself. Um, things like this, like all the time I tarot like a mom, like a mother. I tarot like a mother because it's a tool that I can go to daily for guidance. Just recently, I'm experiencing a lot of anxiety around I could tear up. And I'm sure many of you have experienced this as well. As as you watch your child grow, that she's hitting milestones, or they're hitting milestones, and it like, it fills you with some anxiety. The milestone that we're reaching right now is finishing elementary school and heading into middle school, and like that, divide the changes from one school to another school, and just the age and growing up, and I mean, so it's just, I've been, and the state of the world right now too, the way things are, it doesn't feel safe a lot of the time. So I have been filled with a lot of anxiety around, this topic, and I've been using readings to give me, like, like a focus, to help me, lower my lower my blood pressure, calm my nerves, and give me a focus for how I can get through that and process that and be there and be present, and like, and what's really important, like that's another thing that tarot really helps me with, helps me kind of like, in fact, that was what my readings most recently helped me with. I've been using, I don't have it, I should don't have it right in front of me. I should, but I've been using, I'll show tarot decks at the end of the month. You'll see what I've been using. But I've been using, a really comforting deck, Joe Sparrow Tarot. I guess I can put like a pictures of it up here because I have pictures of from my spreads. And the Prism Oracle has been helping me like just manage anxiety. And I had a spread recently that was um just made me feel empowered to figure out like what I do value. There's a well, the Five of Pentacles in that deck is so it is so it's so interesting. I'll have that picture up. I'll do that because I know, because then underneath it the oracle card was illumination, and so the idea there was that I needed to learn what was actually of value, like not material things, but like not to worry about like the clothes and the, because it can get really, it can get a lot. They have so much pressure on them, and I remember it, I remember what that pressure was like, to dress a certain way and look a certain way and have these certain things, and and it's really, really hard to navigate as a kid. And so all the shiny things and the, and the games and the this and the that, like this, the cool things, and and how I worry about that for, for my child. And but what really matters, at the end of the day, what illuminates is like what's really of value is, you know um like our family, our love for one another. And my kid, I'm talking about her so much on here, but like my kid is just one of the most like kind, like she's like a nicer person than me. I really think she is, who is not, material focused. And it's funny because I remember being her age and like needing to have these certain purses and things and whatever when I was a kid, and she's just not that way. And the what it sparked for me was like, it's I'm gaining so much wisdom, I feel like, from her. And that's what that reading kind of, spoke to. So anyway, that's what I mean. Like, I go to tarot as a parent constantly, and for me it's specific things. It's like my child's milestones, and helping me like make decisions. It helps me like, feel my feelings. It helps me, understand myself and her. And we fight too, like especially the older she gets, and the more, she's got her own set of things that she wants and stuff, and like we don't always see eye to eye, and we argue, and I need help getting through, things like that as well. And I use tarot for that. um I use tarot for that too. So it's, it's a big part of how I, what I can teach her. And it's also a big part of what teaches me and what helps me. But yeah, oh my gosh, how long have I been talking at you now? For 25 minutes. I'll stop now. Yeah, that's it. Because I mean, I could go on and just kind of repeat the same things. And maybe it sounds simple. Maybe, maybe everybody's just like, yeah, duh. we we tarot like a mother, um like a parent, right? I think it doesn't, I think gender doesn't even really matter here when I say like tarot like a mother, because it's like this like fierce loving energy, I think. And it, whoever's on the receiving end of that, whether it's your own, child or your pet or, your niece, nephew, or whatever. I think there's room for anybody to, to claim that. But I'm just, speaking from my own experience with my kid. And I thought, it would be fun to do this for Mother's Day that is being celebrated in the US. And yeah, I'm curious to know like what you think about this. Like, how do you share tarot with your babies? If you have little ones or older children, or, what do you think about tarot and parenting? Is it something you keep separate? Is it something that you integrate? Is it something that's a daily part of your life? Is it something that like you don't discuss with your kids? Like, if you'd like to share with me, I would love to hear. I'm curious. So let me know. And I'd like to wish a happy Mother's Day to everyone that celebrates that this Sunday. I think I might put this video out the day before. We'll see. So yeah, happy Mother's Day to all of you. And my heart is with you for those of you that have, that this is a difficult time for, that have, complicated relationships with their own mother, or who have family members who have passed. I understand how difficult I'm getting myself all worked up because I just get, it's emotional. It's definitely emotional. Anyway, oh my God, I'm sorry. But I'm just being me. Anyway, I'm wishing you guys all the best, and as on Mother's Day, all of you, regardless of your situation or relationships or whatever. And I thank you for sticking with me, and I hope that you all have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye.